I had paid off her $28,000 car loan last month so she could start the new year debt-free when a longtime client told me she'd met my wife at a restaurant downtown last week. Except I'm not married and my girlfriend was supposedly visiting her sister in DC that night. Hey friends, please subscribe and turn on notifications, like this video, and leave a comment with your impressions. This will be a great help. Thank you. We never tire of reminding you. It's all thanks to you. Richmond in mid-January carries this particular kind of cold where the James River looks steel gray and uninviting. The trees completely bare, everyone bundled up, and counting down to spring while knowing they've got at least 2 more months of winter ahead. I'm 37, own and operate Monument Veterinary Clinic in the Museum District. Built it from scratch over the past 9 years into one of the better-regarded small animal practices in Richmond. The kind of work where relationships matter. Clients trust you with their pets, which often means they trust you with family members, and that trust takes years to build. Sloan is 32, works as a pharmaceutical sales rep for a mid-sized company, calling on doctors' offices and hospitals across Central Virginia. Polished, professional, always dressed well, constantly networking and attending medical industry events. We'd been together for a year and 11 months, living together in a house I owned in the Fan District for the past 10 months. Talked about engagement in general terms, not concrete planning yet, but definitely moving in that direction. The car loan situation had come up last fall. Sloan drove a 2021 Audi A4 that she'd bought new when she got her sales job. Nice car, appropriate for her professional image, but she'd financed the whole thing, $42,000 originally, still owed $28,000. The monthly payments were crushing her budget, and the interest rate was terrible because she'd had mediocre credit when she bought it. In early December, I'd suggested, let me pay off your car loan. Give you a fresh start for the new year. No more car payment eating into your income. She'd protested, said it was too much, she couldn't accept that. I'd insisted. $28,000 was significant, but I'd had a good year at the clinic, my practice was profitable, I'd been saving aggressively. And watching her stress about the car payment every month while trying to maintain the professional appearance her job required felt unnecessary. If I could solve that problem, why wouldn't I? She'd finally agreed. We'd set it up clean. I'd pay off the loan to her credit union. The car would be fully hers, no more debt. Fresh start for 2025. I'd made the payment on December 30th. $28,312. Wire transfer to Virginia Credit Union. Paid off the full balance. Got the confirmation, showed it to Sloan that evening. She'd cried. Happy tears. Said I was changing her life. That she'd never be able to thank me enough, that starting the new year without that debt hanging over her felt incredible. It had felt good, solid, like we were building something real together. That was 2 weeks ago. That Tuesday afternoon, January 14th, I was between appointments at the clinic. My 2 p.m. had canceled, so I had a rare 30-minute window. I was in my office catching up on patient notes when my receptionist Jenny knocked. Dr. Chun? Mrs. Whitmore is here early for her 3 o'clock with Biscuit. Do you want to take her now since you have the gap? Sure, let me finish this note, and I'll be right out. Mrs. Whitmore was one of my longtime clients. Had been bringing her golden retriever Biscuit to me for 6 years, since I'd first opened the clinic. Lovely woman in her 60s, retired teacher, treated Biscuit like family. I finished the note and went to the exam room. Biscuit was on the table, tail wagging despite being at the vet. Mrs. Whitmore was smiling. Dr. Chun, good to see you. Biscuit's doing well, just here for her regular senior checkup. Perfect. Let's take a look at this beautiful girl. I started the exam, checked her teeth, listened to her heart and lungs, palpated her abdomen, all the routine senior dog wellness checks. Mrs. Whitmore made small talk while I worked. How was your holiday, Dr. Chun? It was good, quiet. How was yours? Wonderful. Family came in from North Carolina. Very full house. She paused. Oh, I meant to tell you, I met your wife last week. At La Mer, the restaurant in the Jefferson Hotel. She was having dinner with some colleagues. I didn't want to interrupt, but I introduced myself when I saw her in the lobby afterward. I stopped listening to Biscuit's heart. Looked up at Mrs. Whitmore. I'm sorry you met who? Your wife? Sloan, right? Such a lovely woman. She said she was there for a pharmaceutical industry dinner. We chatted for a few minutes. She spoke so warmly about you and the clinic. Mrs. Whitmore, I'm not married. Sloan is my girlfriend, not my wife. Her face went confused. Oh, I'm so sorry. I must have misunderstood. She introduced herself as Mrs. Chun. Said my husband runs the veterinary clinic in the museum district. I just assumed. Something cold settled in my chest. When was this? Last Thursday evening, January 9th. I was there for my book club's dinner. Small world, running into her. Last Thursday, January 9th. I pulled up my phone calendar. Thursday the 9th, Sloan had told me she was driving to D.C. to visit her sister for the night, staying over, coming back Friday afternoon. She'd left around 4 p.m., texted me when she arrived in D.C., around 7, said she was having dinner with her sister and would see me Friday. What time did you see her at La Mer? I asked. Oh, around 8:30? Maybe 9. Her dinner group was finishing up when my book club was leaving. And she was definitely at La Mer? In Richmond? Yes, definitely. The Jefferson Hotel downtown. I'm certain of it. Is everything okay? I forced a smile. Everything's fine. Just surprised, that's all. Let me finish Biscuit's exam. I completed the checkup on autopilot, gave Mrs. Whitmore the senior dog wellness recommendations, walked her out to the front desk. My mind was racing. Sloan had told me she was in D.C. Thursday night. Mrs. Whitmore had seen her at a downtown Richmond restaurant at 8:30 p.m. Not only that, but Sloan had introduced herself as Mrs. Chun and talked about her husband the vet. I went back to my office and closed the door. Looked at my text thread with Sloan from Thursday night. Her 7:18 p.m. Just got to Sarah's place. Traffic wasn't too bad. She's making dinner now. Her 9:02 p.m. Dinner was great. Now just hanging with Sarah and catching up. Hope your evening's going well. Love you. Me 9:15 p.m. Glad you made it safe. Enjoy your sister time. Love you too. She'd texted me at 9:02 p.m. saying she was at her sister's place in D.C. Mrs. Whitmore had seen her at La Mer in Richmond at 8:30 p.m. I opened my laptop and logged in to find my friends. Sloan and I shared locations, had for over a year. Just practical for coordination, safety, normal couple stuff. Pulled up the location history for Thursday, January 9th. Her phone's location that evening. 4 p.m. Our house in the Fan 5:00 p.m. Still in Richmond, moving north on I. 9:56:00 p.m. Richmond city limits, near downtown 7:00 p.m. Downtown Richmond, stationary 8:00 p.m. Still downtown Richmond, same location 9:00 p.m. Still downtown Richmond 10:30 p.m. Moving back toward the Fan 11:00 p.m. Our house. She'd never left Richmond. She'd driven downtown, stayed there from about 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., then come back home. At no point had her phone been anywhere near D.C., and she'd texted me from Sarah's place in D.C., while actually being at La Mer in Richmond, introducing herself as my wife to strangers. I sat there staring at the location data. Then I did what I do professionally when something doesn't add up. I gathered more information before jumping to conclusions. I called the Jefferson Hotel, asked for La Mer restaurant. La Mer, this is Marcus. How can I help you? Hi Marcus, this is Dr. Aiden Chun. I'm trying to get some information about a private dinner event that was held there last Thursday evening, January 9th. A pharmaceutical industry group. My wife attended, and I'm trying to confirm some details. Let me check our reservations. Yes, we had a pharmaceutical sales dinner Thursday night. 22 people. Corporate booking under MedSource Solutions. MedSource Solutions. Thank you, that's what I needed. I hung up. MedSource Solutions was Sloan's company, so she'd been at a work dinner in Richmond, while telling me she was visiting her sister in D.C., and she'd introduced herself to my client as Mrs. Chun and talked about her husband, the veterinarian. I had 3 more appointments that afternoon. Got through them professionally, but my mind was elsewhere. After my last patient left at 5:30, I told Jenny I was heading out. Drove home to the Fan. Sloan's Audi, the one I'd just paid off, was in the driveway. She'd be home, probably getting ready for dinner or watching TV. I sat in my truck for a few minutes thinking about how to approach this. Then I went inside. Sloan was in the kitchen, opening a bottle of wine. She smiled when she saw me. Hey, you're home early. Good day at the clinic. Interesting day. Mrs. Whitmore came in for Biscuit's senior checkup. Oh, that's nice. How's Biscuit doing? She's great. But Mrs. Whitmore told me something interesting. She said she met my wife last Thursday at La Mer. Sloan's hand froze on the wine bottle. What? She said she met you at the Jefferson Hotel restaurant last Thursday evening. You introduced yourself as Mrs. Chun, talked about your husband, the veterinarian. All color drained from her face. Aiden, I can explain. You told me you were visiting your sister in D.C. last Thursday. I was going to go to D.C., but my sister canceled last minute. Your phone never left Richmond. I checked the location history. You were downtown from 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at La Mer for a MedSource Solutions dinner. You checked my location? We share locations, Sloan. It's not secret. What is secret is why you lied about being in D.C. when you were actually 10 minutes away having a work dinner. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Why did you tell me you were visiting Sarah when you were at a work event in Richmond? She was quiet for a long moment. Then, because I didn't want you to know I was going to a work dinner. Why not? Because you get weird about my work events. You always ask questions about who's there and what we're doing, and it feels like you don't trust me. I ask normal questions about your day. That's not the same as not trusting you. But lying about where you are is a great way to destroy trust. I know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lied. But it was just easier than dealing with your questions. And the Mrs. Chin thing? Introducing yourself as my wife. She looked down. That's more complicated. Uncomplicated. In my industry, being married makes a difference. Doctors and office managers take married women more seriously than single women or women with boyfriends. It's sexist and unfair, but it's reality. So sometimes, at professional events, I let people think I'm married. To me specifically, you told Mrs. Whitmore your husband runs the veterinary clinic in the museum district. I didn't think I'd run into anyone you knew. It was just for professional credibility. So you've been doing this regularly? Introducing yourself as my wife at work events. She didn't answer. Sloan, how many times have you told people you're Mrs. Chun? I don't know. A few times. When it seemed professionally advantageous. A few times. So multiple work colleagues, multiple doctors' offices, multiple professional contacts think we're married. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just a professional persona. It's a lie. And it's a lie using my name and my professional reputation. When you tell people you're married to me, you're representing me without my consent. That's dramatic. Is it? Mrs. Whitmore is my client. She's been coming to my clinic for 6 years. She trusts me with her dog's health care. Now she thinks I'm married to you when I'm not. And she found out because you were lying to her about your marital status while lying to me about your location. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. Where were you really Thursday night? After the dinner at La Mer? What do you mean? I came home. Your location shows you downtown until 10:30. The dinner would have ended by 9:30 at the latest. Where were you for that extra hour? I was just driving around. Thinking. Thinking about what? About us. About whether I wanted to keep doing this relationship. That hit like cold water. Excuse me. I've been feeling trapped, okay? You're talking about engagement. You paid off my car like we're married. You asked questions about my schedule like you own me. I needed space to think. So you lied about going to D.C., went to a work dinner where you pretended to be my wife, then drove around Richmond for an hour thinking about whether you wanted to break up with me? When you say it like that, it sounds bad. It is bad, Sloan. You lied about your location. You're using my name and reputation professionally without asking. You're questioning our relationship while accepting $28,000 from me 2 weeks ago. I didn't ask you to pay off my car. You accepted it. Cried about it. Said it was changing your life. That was 2 weeks ago. Were you feeling trapped then? She didn't answer. How long have you been telling people you're married to me? A few months. Since the fall. Since before I paid off your car. Yes. So you've been using my professional status and reputation to boost your career for months, while lying to me about your schedule and questioning whether you even want to be in this relationship. I do want to be in this relationship. I'm just confused. About what? About whether you're who I want long term. About whether I'm ready for the commitment you want. About whether I want to actually be Mrs. Chun or if I just want to use the status professionally. I stood there processing that. She'd been pretending to be married to me for professional advantage while simultaneously questioning whether she actually wanted to marry me. Here's what's going to happen, I said. I need complete honesty right now. Have you been seeing someone else? No. Have you been lying about other things besides Thursday night? She hesitated. Sloan, have you lied about other things? Sometimes I tell you I'm working late when I'm actually just having drinks with friends. Or I say I have early morning meetings when I don't. I just want time to myself. How often? Maybe once or twice a week. For how long? A few months. So multiple times a week for months. You've been lying about your schedule. They're small lies. Just to have some independence. They're lies. Frequency doesn't change that. And using my name professionally without my knowledge isn't a small thing. It affects my reputation. When you tell people you're Dr. Chin's wife, they associate me with you and your behavior. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'll tell people we're not married. That's not enough. I need to know the full scope of what you've been doing. Who else have you lied to about us being married? I don't have a list. Estimate. How many people think we're married? Maybe 20? 30? Mostly doctors' offices and medical sales colleagues. 30 people think I'm married to you. 30 professional contacts who might interact with my clients or colleagues. Do you understand how that affects my credibility when the truth comes out? I didn't think about it that way. That's the problem. You didn't think about how your lies affect me. You just used whatever story was convenient. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. Pulled up the transaction from December 30th. $28,312 to Virginia Credit Union for Sloan Morrison's auto loan. Showed her the screen. I paid this off 2 weeks ago thinking we were building a future together. A future based on honesty and trust. Were you lying to people about being married to me when I made this payment? Yes, she whispered. Were you feeling trapped and questioning our relationship when you accepted this money? I was confused about my feelings, but I didn't plan to use you. You were using me. Using my name professionally. Using my money to eliminate your debt. Using my reputation to boost your career. All while lying about where you were and questioning whether you even wanted to be with me. What do you want me to do? I want you to be honest for once. Do you actually want to be in this relationship? She was crying now. I don't know. I love you, but I also feel suffocated. I want the stability you provide, but I also want more independence. I don't know if I'm ready for the commitment you want. Then you should go figure that out. Somewhere else. What? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not building a relationship with someone who lies about where they are, uses my name without permission, and questions whether they even want to be with me while accepting my money. Aiden, please. I paid off your car 2 weeks ago. That was a gift. The car is yours. But I want you out of my house. Where am I supposed to go? Hotel. Friend's house. Your sister's in D.C. You can actually visit her this time instead of pretending to. I don't care. But you're not staying here. Can we at least talk about this? We are talking about it. You've lied to me for months. About your location, about our marital status, about your feelings about this relationship. You've used my professional reputation without my knowledge. I'm done. She tried everything over the next few hours. Promised to be completely honest from now on. Said she'd stop telling people we were married. Said she'd go to therapy to work on her commitment issues. Begged for another chance. I didn't argue. Just told her to pack. She left around 11 p.m., going to stay with a friend from her sales team. The next day, I started making calls. First call was to my attorney. Keith, I need to know. If someone has been using my name professionally, telling people they're married to me when they're not, do I have any legal recourse? That's potentially identity misrepresentation, but it's hard to prove damages unless you can show her false claims harmed your professional reputation. Why? What's going on? I explained the situation. That's tricky, Keith said. She hasn't stolen your identity in a legal sense. She's just misrepresented your relationship status. Unless you can prove it damaged your veterinary practice reputation or caused you financial harm, there's not much legal recourse. It's more of an ethical breach than a legal one. What if I wanted to send a cease and desist? You could, telling her to stop representing herself as your wife. But if she's already agreed to stop, it's probably unnecessary. The bigger issue is reputational. You might want to quietly let key colleagues know you're not married, just in case it comes up. Over the next few days, the contact attempts from Sloan came in waves. Thursday, she called multiple times. I didn't answer. Friday, long text. I know I messed up. I'm so sorry. Please let me make this right. I'll do anything. I replied. You can start by being honest with everyone you told we were married. Correct the record. Tell them the truth. I will. I promise. Can we talk in person? No. Saturday, her mother called. Aiden, this is Patricia. Sloan told me what happened. She's devastated. Can you please give her another chance? Did she tell you she's been introducing herself as my wife for months? While lying to me about where she was and questioning whether she wanted to be in the relationship. She said there were some misunderstandings about her work schedule. They weren't misunderstandings. They were lies. Multiple times a week for months. Everyone makes mistakes. This wasn't a mistake. This was a sustained pattern of dishonesty. I paid off $28,000 of her debt 2 weeks ago, thinking we had a future built on trust. We don't. Sunday, email from Sloan. Subject, I'm getting help. Long message about how she'd scheduled an appointment with a therapist, how she was working on understanding why she felt the need to lie, how she wanted to be honest and deserved a chance to show me she could change. I didn't reply. By late January, I was resetting. The house felt like mine again. Started going to a different coffee shop in the mornings, different lunch spots, avoiding places where I might run into her. Began taking a Vietnamese cooking class on Wednesday evenings. Learned proper pho technique, bun cha, fresh spring rolls. The precision and layering was meditative. Work stayed busy. January and February were always packed at the clinic. New pet owners after holiday adoptions. Senior pets needing winter wellness checks. The usual rhythm. I also started quietly correcting the record with colleagues. When the topic came up naturally, I'd mention that Sloan and I had broken up, that we'd never been married, just in case anyone had heard otherwise. Early February, I ran into one of Sloan's colleagues, a woman named Dana who worked in pharmaceutical sales for a competing company. We'd met at a few industry events. Aiden, how are you? How's Sloan? We're not together anymore. We broke up in January. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't realize. We just saw her last week at a medical sales conference, and she seemed fine. Did she happen to mention how she was doing? Post-breakup. Actually, yes. She said it was hard, but she was moving forward. She introduced her boyfriend to a few people at the conference. I absorbed that. Her boyfriend? Yeah, a guy named Derek. Works in medical device sales. They seemed pretty coupled up. I figured maybe you two had been broken up for a while, and she'd moved on. We broke up 3 weeks ago. Oh wow. That's fast. Very fast. Did she introduce Derek as her boyfriend, or as something else? Dana looked uncomfortable. She actually introduced him as her fiancé. Said they'd just gotten engaged. I felt sick. She introduced a guy as her fiancé 3 weeks after our breakup. I'm so sorry. I had no idea the timing was that close. That's really inappropriate of her. Did she mention me at all? She said her ex had been controlling and she was glad to be free. That's why I assumed you'd been broken up for a while. I wasn't controlling. I asked her to be honest about where she was and to stop telling people we were married when we weren't. Dana's eyes went wide. She was telling people you were married? For months. Using my professional status to boost her credibility. I only found out because she ran into one of my veterinary clients while claiming to be Mrs. Chun. That's really problematic. I'm sorry you went through that. I drove home thinking about Sloan already calling someone else her fiancé, already telling new lies, already rewriting history to make me the controlling ex. Some people don't change. They just find new people to lie to. Early March, I was at the clinic doing evening appointments when Mrs. Whitmore came in with Biscuit for a recheck. Dr. Chun, good to see you. How have you been? I've been well, Mrs. Whitmore. How's Biscuit? She's wonderful. Her senior blood work came back perfect. She paused. I hope I didn't cause any problems when I mentioned seeing your wife. I heard through the grapevine that you're not actually married. You didn't cause problems. You actually helped me understand some things I needed to know. Sloan and I aren't together anymore. I'm sorry to hear that, though I can't say I'm surprised. Anyone who lies about being married is probably lying about other things too. That's been my experience. Well, you're a good man and an excellent veterinarian. You'll find someone who appreciates that without needing to embellish it. That weekend, I made pho from scratch, 18-hour bone broth, proper spice balance, careful assembly. The kind of cooking that requires patience and precision. The $28,000 was gone. I'd made peace with that. It had bought me clarity about who Sloan was when professional advantage and personal convenience conflicted with honesty. The house was quiet and fully mine. I'd changed things around, repainted a room, made it clear this was my space. My veterinary practice continued growing. The reputation I'd built over 9 years wasn't damaged by Sloan's lies. If anything, clients seemed to respect that I'd handled it quietly and professionally. I didn't feel triumphant about Sloan moving on so quickly. I felt clear about the decision I'd made. Working as a veterinarian had taught me that the most important thing in building trust is consistency. Animals and their owners need to know that you'll be honest about diagnoses, treatments, and outcomes even when the truth is hard. That consistency builds the relationships that sustain a practice. Sloan had been inconsistent with basic truth. She'd lie when it was convenient, use whatever stories served her purposes, misrepresent reality to gain advantage. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt whole. When your client tells you they met your wife at a restaurant while your girlfriend was supposedly out of town, do you assume it's a misunderstanding or do you start investigating immediately? Share your perspective in the comments.